All right, hold on a second. Before I start reading everybody's titles here, I'm going to just wait till this actually boots up. And I'm going to notify everybody here on Facebook. So some people are asking, how do you find out about my live streams? Well, you can add me on Facebook. I've tried scheduling it a couple of times. It never seems to work out that well. But
Right.
yeah, so and just give everybody, please just give me a moment here to update everybody. So before I start reading everybody's bios, so you have an idea what the show's about. Okay, we are good. Welcome. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. So Patty, Edgar, Jason, thank you all. Much appreciate. Okay, so I'm James Rank. For people who don't know, I am a super soldier. I've been in the secret space program, but today is not about that. Today, we're actually going to do a current event show, but it's going to be more than that because we have Jenny, intuitive, seer, remote viewer, automatic writer, angel reader, and healer, Jenny Lee, with us. So she has been working with families to help missing persons assist law enforcement cases for 12 years as of 20. Well, actually, it would be, well, it says 12 as of 2020. So I guess we need to change that 2021. Almost 13 years now. In the process, she uncovers corruption with high-level elites and sometimes even law enforcement. Jenny has some recalled memories of being in Orion with the Ascended Masters, including Jesus. Okay, so she's actually discussed this in another video, so you can go back in the last interview we did. But we're not really gonna go into that topic. I don't really think touch any of this. But she has some SSP memories of being on ships and sees keys that twist around planet Earth. Jenny accurately predicted President Trump being elected in 2016, but her predictions have been wiped from the internet because so many other psychics, I guess what they were, I don't know, they were jealous of you, or maybe they just didn't, because I think you said there was like a list of like 45 psychics, and you and like maybe like two or three other people accurately predicted Trump will be the president. And this was before even like like when the primaries were starting up. Is that correct?
Right.
Yeah.
This is, yeah, I knew really early on. They were telling me because when I first did 2016, they already knew. They're like, 2020 is the same, but it's going to be a little more rougher. So, I mean, this, and you know what? It's funny on YouTube. I think I was telling you this too, and I think we talked about it. Is I was seeing Trump clairvoyant, all those predictions, and all of a sudden, you've seen in the last 6 months, they're already saying, well, he's got some abilities and he does this and that, and I'm thinking, well, yeah, I was saying that a long time ago. I mean, he's has done predictions all through his life. I mean, of predicting things. It's just the mindset of the high mindset of knowing, just the knowing. So you've seen it, on this repeated dialogue that you get because they kind of inform you as things go along. It's just part of the process. Um, so like predictions, when we do predictions, we're not trying to actually say, okay, I'm going to do a prediction now. It's just this down low of information starts just coming in, and you're just trying to put it down or program it into something in a format. And that's why I get these late at night when I'm getting this information, because you're just trying to recall everything, because they're only going to sit in your brain for a certain amount of time if you don't set this in there. You know what I'm saying? And write it down and document it, because that elusive state will go out. So, and then you go back and reference through it again, but they kept going back to the same marks, but this prediction was set in phases. So it wasn't just like, oh, he's going to win. It's like certain things have to be implemented on certain phases of the prediction to get to the level. And we're down to phase 4, which is ringing in the Liberty Bell in their reference.
Should I pull that up? The 2020 election prediction
Yeah.
site. Okay.
Yeah.
And folks, I'm going to share my screen. Please don't hate me for having a ton of windows open, but that's what happens when you're a little ADD, but that's all part of the learning process here. So, okay. And by the way, we know she spelled prediction wrong. She's going to get to that fixed eventually, but yeah. So, I guess I can go ahead and read this. So, right down here. Okay. First phase uses anger the
Yeah.
misdirected souls of humankind to abolish man and law and create anarchy with a paranoid society. This is the perfect storm for misguided souls. Okay, so that was back in June. So a lot of people were angry. Maybe I guess I'm assuming at Trump, the people that listen to the
Right,
media.
but it's making society paranoid, where you don't trust anything, you're having doubt. So that was the whole thing, to put in that fear mongering attitude towards things. And that's what the
Mhm.
presence of that would gain control and put fear into the
And that
public.
was also the height of COVID as well. So was that tied into that too?
Right. Yeah. So, because when you're isolated, it feeds the paranoia. So yeah,
Okay.
I have dyslexia
All
too.
right.
So you guys, I think
Okay.
everybody knows that.
Oh, well, no
Um,
judge, Jenny. Okay, so it is what it is. Abolish resources and dismantle human safety. Enforce shaded societies of news media mafia. Dark
uh-huh,
seated laws to enforce depopulation and remove your opinion free will. Dissolve our history and dissolve our history on Great Earth.
uh-huh.
Okay, so you're gonna have to interpret this. What do you, so let's just start with abolish resources. So I'm assuming this means
So abolish human resources that, that they can use as a resource, so basically it's implementing control, and then using those, having those sources you had before, and now it's like dismantling it and not feeling that it's able to reach to those sources anymore and all that stuff, you know. So you can put that in,
you mean
accessing businesses.
you mean how like small businesses were destroyed and how
Hmm.
like Amazon took over,
Yeah.
and that's
And
supposedly
it's
the new normal.
dismantling. Yeah.
Mhm,
So you're dismantling that, and they're slowly impacting you and changing that whole format. And
mhm,
then, we're, animals in nature, when we get to a certain point and you put us in a corner, at some point, we just can't sustain that and handle it. So, we're going to go back to our normal naturist ways of looking at things. And so it panics us, and to put, make humans paranoid and they can't trust anybody. It's just this energy. And then they give you a little glimmer of hope to think that there's going to be a light at the end of the tunnel, and then they make it even worse. So it kills your free will. And
all
that's
right.
what as an
Okay.
agenda.
So the next one is enforce shaded societies of a news media mafia. So are we
Mhm.
referring to the main? I mean, obviously mainstream media, but what are
Right.
these shaded societies?
The shaded societies that are controlled by those bigger outlets. You know what I'm saying? They're not up there
Well,
front. You're
so
not hearing their names.
are we referring to Mockingbird CIA? Or are we referring to CF Council of Foreign Relations?
I
Um,
I felt when I did the prediction, it was more investing. So you're having these outlets that are telling you one thing, and then they're like, okay, these are people or these corporations that are backing the money to push this agenda. So, and that's how I saw the interpretation.
and
So
the agenda was
seeing media
so the agenda.
to
Go ahead.
no matter what, it's about containment and control, and slowly take away your free will, and impact that, and not even let you breathe, and not to even take a break from it. Just it's a constant control,
Mm,
and not feeling you have your own space. So what these did is having investors, or there's George Soros and all those bigger, people like that, where they like to alter the way you feel about things and how you're seeing things, and have doubt in your mind of what you're seeing and interpreting.
mhm. And remove
And
your
then,
opinion free will.
right. And the media is very good at manipulating, changing that, whatever every persona they can do, to put doubt, and especially put doubt in what Trump is able to do. Well, no
Mm,
matter what, it's like whatever he does good, let's take that away from him. Let's not give him recognition for what he's done. And that's we're literally looking at between the lightness and the dark. That's the way dark works. And don't shine upon the light, don't glorify the light, don't glorify that, that awesome shepherd that's working for the light. You tear it down, dismantle it, recreate, create a different idol in the way they want to see things.
All
And no
right.
matter what, the thing that I see with that agenda is they always try to make it look like everything's good about them, and they're doing it from a core of goodness of humanity. And you know what the thing is, if anybody knows about the way negative energy works, it's very good at playing that game and thinking that it's something else, and they're wanting to think that this is the good guy. And when you reveal the bad guy, you get the reaction what you're getting now: control, containment, and confined. And
Yeah, well,
that's
that's
what's going on
typical.
right
Yeah,
now.
with Mockingbird, they want to control your thoughts so that they control
Right.
the narrative. And and then that goes to the next prediction. Earth will move its ground soon. So you're seeing
Yeah.
what, earthquakes or perhaps underground bases
When I
dumb.
saw those were East Coast, West Coast, and it was coming, and especially New York's a big deal with me, and then the West Coast with earthquakes. Um, New York was more water, pushing on consistent weather and pushing and embracing those streets in that area. So there was more of a chaos energy with water, and the other one was earth moving and shifting underneath each other. So that process was an important part too. So it's basically like earth purging,
Okay.
the negativity, and it's so it's a reaction on everything's a vibration, and then the earth is reacting from
Hmm. Well,
that.
what do you mean by you will see colorful core of light? This colorful core of light.
Okay. So they showed me this colorful core light, which is from a space perception of seeing it. And sorry, that's so when I was looking at the visual of showing me, and so I keep telling people, look up, pay attention what's going on in space, because we're all paying attention what's going on here. I know, and you're seeing different stuff that people are not paying attention to. I got a ton of pictures of stuff that I've just by accident, you know, and so there's stuff happening outside our atmosphere that we're not even paying attention to. So we're so contained and controlled by what's going on here that we're not paying attention what's going on up there. So, so these different phenomenons are outside of our world existing, and then you have these frequencies changing, energy changing, and we're not even paying attention, but they're showing these colors that mix together. And so I do believe that we're in the process of that, and we're going to see more of it.
Will that
That's
be
what they're
like with
showing.
the galactic central sun raising the consciousness of the planet with the
I
photon?
have to tell you, because I don't try to change it the way they show it. So they literally showed me in colors, and these are waves of energy going up and down. Like we couldn't see it before, and now you can actually see it. So it shifts, and now that appearance is actually able to see with the eye.
All right.
And so I think it has a lot to do with being enlightened and being open to, okay, this is something new that's going to be here, and now we have to be aware of it. You know what I'm saying? So and any you know opening levels of mindset to what's happening outside our atmosphere, and awakening that spirit, because people, they're such in that program denial stage when that actually is witnessing it with the physical eye. People, it takes them a while. You're reprogramming. You're just like, it's there. You're going to have to accept it. So, and then you have the higher mindset that already like, we're already on it. We're already past this. Let's, we've already accepted it. So they're already ready to roll. You have a lot of people the higher mindset are starving. Let's just get to this higher dimension stuff and let's start rocking and rolling. There's a lot of people that are just ready. Boom,
Yeah.
let's go.
So what does this mean? I mean, yeah, man is not in control. That is illusion. So control of what?
Yep.
Are you referring to the
Man
cabal?
is not in control of everything that's happening. That's the whole thing. They're like, man has this ego sense that they're in control of everything what happens in their interpretation, and it's not. It's a whole thing that's set in place at time and happenstance situations. So I think man needs to get over the fact that they have control over everything. That's what they're saying.
All right.
And once everything is revealed, there's a chain effect of identifying that and relaying that information and going, wow,
Hmm.
we feel small now because we had no idea that this big picture is out there. And once we realize what is out there, it's a total different deal.
All right. So for this time on Earth, Trump will win another season. As the fall leaves turn brown, each and every soul will pick to be free. Red.
Right. Right.
You mean like Republican or not?
Red is something you're going to see across the scene. That land, you're going to see red across. Land from land to land, shore to shore.
You mean how the map, the election
yes.
map? And
No. This is people will stand in line if you read that part. You know what I'm saying? So you're not seeing blue anywhere. You know what I'm saying? You were seeing just, and I'm not talking about what the media is putting out. I'm saying like you're actually seeing physical beings choosing the free will of that choice, and they're standing there in line. And so it's all red that you're seeing across the plate there. This is a thing that people don't understand, James. People think, well, you're just crazy for following this being, this spiritual being of Trump. And there's a frequency within him that people are drawn into because he understands them at a humble level. And if you can name one millionaire that has done what he's done and said, I'm going to go in and do what I can for man and not worry about his own riches and just say, this is what I'm supposed to do. Sometimes we all get to our enlightenment and we know our journey, what we're supposed to do. And they down him for discovering that, figuring it out, and knowing. And there's people on this earth that never figure it out. And they can't go back and judge him for, oh, he did this, he did this, he did this. But that's his journey to that point. And now he's at that point of understanding and he's doing what he's supposed to do. And after this is over, nobody can judge him for what he has done and what he has done for man. Nobody.
Even though Facebook and Twitter,
it don't matter.
They're trying to erase him and brand him, all Trump supporters, as terrorists.
Yeah, it's not going to matter at the end of all of this, because right now we're not understanding the journey. But as you look back and reflect after you know everything, you're going to look back and go, that man, that soul decided to save us. He didn't have to, but there's something in the core of him decided that this is my journey. And so all of us get to a certain point in our life where you're going to take, either I'm going to be self-efficient and pick what I need, or you have this humble energy that tells you, lead the people, lead them in a direction, help who you can. When you do that at the time of end of your life, and you don't fear death, you're like, I did exactly what I was supposed to do. And that's really what it comes to, is the soul has decided what it needs to do here.
So, go ahead. Well,
no, go ahead.
Yeah, so we got, will shine your eyes, your spirits will stand a long line. So I'm assuming these are the 81% of the population that voted for Trump.
Yeah, right.
At least that was what they got before that's what they found out when they seized the Frankfurt servers. But chances are they were already switching the votes at that point, so it could have been the
Right.
popular vote could be higher than 81%. To ring
Right.
in the freedom bell, Trump was chosen before his soul.
Was even born. I don't think what I have it on there, but
Yeah,
it's
the freedom
basically
bell. What it
the freedom bell is that frequency I keep telling you about that you're going to hear, you know, uh, and they keep telling that's important is that frequency. So that freedom bell has to ring. Like I said, it's a frequency where some can hear it and some cannot. So that's an important part of that frequency that people have to hear.
so the
Then
chosen souls
from
here
there on,
that
the
comes from heaven.
chosen souls.
Hmm. And they are tested within this lifetime and time again and can withstand the
Right.
human stones and embrace the ability to stay on mission. Humans
Yeah.
will come together as one soul.
At the
And
end of everything. Yeah.
and the pains of the past will heal as we move into the soul and discard the human body.
Correct.
So you see us becoming like more spiritual beings by discarding the
Yes.
body. That's
Yes.
like society as a whole.
Right. Because we've outgrown that you look at a human and you look at their human shell and decide that what that is their identity, and it's not. It's what's inside the frequency, and how that interacts with you is all frequency. It has nothing to do with the pigmentation. That old programming is done. That doesn't do nothing. So it just brings ignorance. Um, and so, because when you're looking at light, you're not thinking of colors. You're thinking of feeling how the light feels, how that person's soul feels. And we understand, we see right through that.
Hmm.
People, it's going to be come together in a very global way of caring.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and
So,
pull
I
up
mean,
the
we're at
second.
something. Go ahead.
You ready for the second part?
Yeah.
Okay. So, um, no. So this one, this. Okay, it looks like that. But this part right here. All right. Well, we already went over that one, but and then we were down here. The ability to stay on mission and pains of past. Okay, and then from this time on Earth, Trump will win another season.
Season. Right.
Oh, you know what? I think we just went over that. So then it's down here.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think
Oh,
so.
here we are.
Yeah.
All right. So this is what you got just recently from just yesterday. So and I know it was actually me that was typing this up, so the language may sound
Right.
different, but these left-wing people do not think that there's another program. There's only they believe there's only one alternative. They will soon malfunction and go catatonic. Some will react and do stupid stuff like burn down government buildings to hide records and files. No matter how far it took for them to cheat, that program is still in their mind, and they are basically will become insane, and they don't care, and they will take others with them. They will feel like, in order to make them feel like they're in control. New York and Los Angeles will be very chaotic during this time, and the leaders and authorities will not even care what they are doing. The demon seed will soon have everything blow up in their face. The military will walk down this eventually will walk down into these streets from block to block, isolating the chaos. Tanks, people in uniforms, nighttime ops pushing through urban environments to, put the demon seed against the wall and eventually arrest them or exterminate them, whatever works
Right.
best. So, are you seeing this like starting like right now, or it's just going to happen after the inauguration of whoever is supposed to get inaugurated?
No, I think it's as soon as you have to understand. I think I was explaining this to you when. So I do want to. So let's talk about the suicide because it's just part of it. So for this, the suicide stuff is going to happen before these cities go into this because there was never a plan B to fail. Okay, so some people, when they see jail or being prosecuted, it's just not an alternative, and they're too weak for that. And that's where it's disheartening, but I'm seeing these massive suicides that are
Hmm.
going to fold out with, um, I'm not going to jail. So, when they're going to make that choice of deciding what they're going to be in control of how they demised, so, and then after that situation where we're seeing him prosecuted, and then I see this havoc going on in New York and LA, and on these city out streets of things, and these leaders really not even, and I mean, as in the city governors, they're not caring. They're not caring if their people are hurting or suffering, or it's and that's at that reality of like they really never cared. It was all about them. So that reality has to come, and then I see the government just sweeping through that situation and cleaning up the mess.
All right. Well, do you have any other details that you might have missed, or something you want to mention before we go to the current events?
I can go ahead and go to the current events.
Well, how about
Whatever
we
I feel.
start with the inauguration? Are you seeing Biden, or are you seeing Trump, or are you seeing both deciding to inaugurate themselves on the 20th? Or is it going to happen
Okay,
another date?
so uh, I am not going to put, and spiritually, this is the thing when people put human dates, I'm just like, I look at things with graphs and I try to push that energy. So this is what I would tell you. I'd say between the 20th and the 25th. I'm not going to put it on a date because time on that side doesn't really matter. It's a frequency that tells me it's solid or it's weak. So this is the thing, and you can ask anybody a question about Biden. Biden has no energy. There's no energy behind it. It's all weak. I'm saying, for to think that society can think this person, or whatever you want to call him, can function in and have respect and honor with that, it doesn't have no backing. Whatever people think, they want a strong person at the helm, and they respect that, and especially it's a person that's fought for them and has been honest and has been showed them, I've checked the list and I checked it twice, and I've done this and I've done everything I was supposed to do, because that's within his core of who he is. um, that's what they respect, and
Yeah.
that's what they want when they go to bed at night. They know that is what other countries respect too.
Hmm. So
So
they're building a 7-foot fence around the Capitol and where the inauguration area is going to be. Uh, so,
mhm.
so obviously that just shows you that the Biden folks, yeah, don't trust the rest of America because
No, I know.
they
Oh,
probably get
yeah.
stormed. Yeah. So, but I've also heard that Trump may decide to inaugurate himself in the White House. So he'll have his own ceremony the same day, or maybe around the same day. Um, and then
Um,
we may have a problem.
I actually could see it more in the White House doing it that way than being outside, and I actually think society would be okay with that.
Hmm. If Trump decides to inaugurate himself, maybe for the two separate governments. One is the corporation of the United States, which is uh,
Well,
bank.
I just feel the military involved in more of that presence and being in that situation, and with being it there and being a witness of it.
Hmm.
He needs that backing with him too, to show, sometimes, I mean, he's held together a lot on his own, and especially with the energy that's behind him. But um, and to have those military people, it's just a very respectful thing to be there too. So I don't think it's something, everybody knows his supporters. Everybody knows, they've been there over and over. He's not, that's not an important part. It's just the knowing of the truth. I keep replaying in my mind, when you look at everything that's been done, and everything that's been revealed and everything that's come out at the end of the situation, it's really gonna make humankind humble. Because if this is affected worldwide in the way things are, it sometimes it takes war and putting us through something to really rejuvenate the human soul as one, you know?
Mhm.
And so that ego and all that stuff. And this is the biggest thing I tell people. Once we're at that presence of, Trump's in there, here's our hardest job as light workers, healers, higher understanding, is we have to reach out our hand to those people that are completely lost because they were led down a path that they thought that was 100% true. And you have to be noble and humble and say, hey, I'll help you.
All right. So let me go ahead and start sharing screen. And by the way, folks, if you have questions, go ahead and ask it. Long as they're good ones. I'll see. We're bringing up here. Okay. So we got there's the we got the coin from Biden, but I'm sorry to Pence, but apparently Pence has been replaced with a clone. So whether he was a PEDO or whether he was involved in a coup attempt early on in the presidency, I can't comment on that. But yeah, so this apparently is the coin. I don't know, maybe, but I don't know if you comment about that, Jenny, or it's probably
I'm not feeling that. Sorry.
okay. Okay,
That is not
they may not.
correct.
Okay.
Um,
So then we got Trump down is in Texas, and apparently Texas has by their constitution allows them to withdraw from the United States. So they're like their own separate country
yeah, they
from
are.
the original treaty with the U.S. So under the if the corporate federal government has been put out of business, right now we are just in one giant banana republic. So that means Texas has been reconstituted as its own country. And under the Insurrection Act, the president has to be outside the country, apparently. So that's why he's down there. If anyone you want to comment about that, do you agree or disagree or want to add to it?
I have a feeling of where he is at, and I'm not gonna say, but it's definitely somewhere where no one would expect.
The moon? Oh, you said you're not going to tell us. LOC. Okay. Well, all right then.
Just,
Fair enough.
I think he'll reveal it at some point. But yeah, I think he's somewhere where people are like,
Okay.
dang.
So yeah, this is just more just hearsay. I mean, we could say whatever we want to say about Pence, but ultimately he's doing his role. And I mean, they had to certify the election to nail these people for committing fraud. So Pence had to cooperate with it. We got the former, let's hear Michael over here, or Michelle, whatever you want to, whatever she likes to call herself, it's fine. But it's not fine. She's bribed in in the hands of the CCP. But we got here, yeah. So it seems like there's a lot of people want to ban free speech, and this whole country is based on free speech, and different ideas allow us to expand on these viewpoints to get different perspectives. So they want to implement a Borg hive mind mentality like they have in China. So I don't think most Americans really want this. And what are your thoughts about big tech? What do you think is going to happen to them for what they've done? Censoring, deleting President Trump's Twitter page and Facebook page, and yeah, there's a lot more on too as well.
Because that has to do with feeling in power, feeling in control of things. And when you're presenting information that does not fit their opinion, their format, and they feel at a point right now they're intimidated completely, they're in panic mode, the response is to contain and control. And
Mhm.
that's what the mode they're in. Because they think of, because it's something I feel that's worked in the past of doing that. and it's worked for others to contain them. It's
What?
not working now. And
Yeah,
so
but
I think it's,
Jenny, are you familiar with the Barbara Streisand effect?
no, I actually am not.
Okay, so I don't know. This might have been back in the 90s. I'm not sure exactly when, but there was a point where Barbara Streisand told the media to not take pictures of her house. And what happened is immediately that got publicized, and then everybody wanted to go visit her house over there in Malibu and take pictures of it. So by banning someone, you create more notoriety, and more people will actually be more interested in what he has to say.
Right, right. Oh, let me tell you something. This whole situation, this co-op or whatever you call it, this task force that they did for this election, this has been played like a fine chess game to the T. And so I'm going to tell you, I do not feel that Mike Pence is this big traitor that you think of. I'm sorry, but Trump is way too smart to leave an ally right next to him, and unless he knew every move that that guy was going to make. I'm just telling you, at the end of this, I don't think Mike Pence is the enemy that everybody thinks he is.
Yeah, I suspect that as well. It's almost like what was that lady's name? Omarosa. I don't know if you remember back
Yeah, I remember her.
the
Yeah,
Trump.
Omarosa. Yeah, I remember her. Yeah.
So she joined the Trump campaign, and then she started to attack Trump, and then she left, and supposedly a huge pout. But it's almost like Trump brings these people in to create drama, so
Yes.
it attracts more media attention. Maybe it draws attention away from something else, and everything's targeted and timed at a certain point. So yeah, so there's a lot of actors or actresses. It's to me, it's absolutely brilliant, but
Right. There is, I mean,
I don't think I'm ready to spin people the way he does. But hey, whatever works.
well, I mean, and that's the clairvoyant side. When you get something, you feel something, you speak it. You know, if you're not going to speak it, then get out of it, because when you're trying, it's just like anything else with these higher mindset people. We're already understanding what's happening 4 steps ahead of things, and our voice is already saying it through our mind quick. And then when people drag things out, that's why he's just like, boom, and then people like don't know how to take that. So I always tell people, you either speak your truth and say what you're feeling down in the deep side of the core of you, or get out of the energy quick and don't do anything about it. So, so is, so how can I explain it? It's a human irritation to wait for people to expect him to all of a sudden they're thinking he's going to just do something completely normal. I'm like, that man was not born and raised in this world to do something completely normal. He was supposed to push the brink of the alternative of things. And those people, it's about that agenda of getting that done. And at the end of the day, they look back and go, I did exactly what I was supposed to do.
All right.
So
Let's go back to more current events here. And so we got, as I was saying earlier about the Organic Act of 1871. I mean, if you've seen Changes on the Horizon, you know about this, but essentially, President has not conceded. There's two countries. There's United States Inc. and United States of Public. So apparently the republic has been reconstituted, because that's how the only way I could see how this is going to play out here, which is what they've been working on all along. So we've got an affidavit here that proves Italy and Obama were involved in a coup to overthrow the government on Christmas Eve. I'm sorry, it was delivered to President Christmas. So we have so Trump won't get a second term, at least maybe of the corporation of the United States of America, but maybe as the Republic he will. He dismantled the bank. Yeah, so we know about the Organic Act of 1871, so that's been dismantled. And then, of course, the War Powers Act, and the Trading with the Enemies Act, and then, of course, the Gold Confiscation Act, or FDR, which put us in a state of national emergency. So then so all that's been overturned. Now we've got Antifa and the traders are trying to disrupt and smear the president, and of course, Jenny, you've commented that they're just these people are basically going insane and just trying to attack anyone because they need to feel like they're in control. And then we have the Georgia runoff. So they were using that as a sting operation on the satellites control. So the Leonardo, which is an Italian military weapons contractor, was tracking how the servers, how they were, was the data was coming from to switch the votes, and that was actually led to the Vatican, more specifically Italy. But so they had to let the Georgia runoff play as they they basically so I mean they were already losing all the whole battle, so they should have done is just backed off. But I guess they got desperate. They feel like they're in so much control, like they can do whatever they want.
Well, they figure it worked for us earlier, so we're gonna keep going with this. I mean, that's just the persona that worked before. Let's do it again.
Yeah,
thinking that they're untouchable.
mm-hmm.
And that's what they felt. So
yeah.
So
now that the social media accounts of the president have been shut down. So then apparently they're going to try to do EBS, but Apple is blocking some of it. They're trying to block it on the cell phone, so they may try to even circumvent that as well. But ultimately, we'll see how that's going to play out. Only time will tell. And then so we've got pray for Trump and his family. I think that's a great thing. Okay, so unless Jenny, do you want to make any other comments about that?
I think it's pretty more or less a human condition. I mean, they're just doing what they think they need to do, and they think it worked before. I mean, it's just like a criminal trying to get away, steal as many cookies as they can. And as long as it works, we're going to keep doing it. But then until you get your hand bitten off or smacked, then they decide to take it a different way. So, I mean, any evil plan or anything is going to try it until they get caught. And then when they get caught, that's when they regret it.
So this is the last tweet President Trump was allowed to make before they shut his account down. So you can see right there. And this was after what was her name? Was her name Ashley, the person that got shot in the Capitol? I'm sure somebody will really correct me in the chat there, but yeah. So, but she may have been an actress on one of these. For some kind of false flag or, oh shoot, I'm not supposed to say that word. Oops. Okay. Well, we'll just say put pause intention out there that this video won't get banned. But anyway, I'm gonna have to be very careful what I say here. Dear Patriots, some of you may know my name. Okay, so what we got here? Operations ongoing and silent. So hear from the 17 again about saying the letter. Okay, and we've got POTUS is 100% safe. And here's some questions. Why has Kamala not left the Senate? Where's Joe? Where is Joe really? So what do you think, Jenny? Why has Kamala not left the Senate yet?
So I have to tell you, I saw a picture of Joe, and it was really weird because you could see a lot of skin pushed in the back of the neck when a skinny man does that. And I think I've seen those things, and those are more masks that do that.
So we've got a body double that's wearing a silicone mask that looks like him.
Yeah. I mean, I was looking at that, and the way skin forms in the back of the neck, especially with a skinny person, it does not form like that. That is formed through a mold or a shell. So I think you're seeing a lot of where is Joe attitude, and who you're actually getting it may not be Joe. So, I mean, you really paying attention to the details, but yeah, that was a big giveaway. Seeing the hair underneath, and then underneath the hair, you would see the skin form, and not in a way that the body would normally go, with his weight, you would have that much fat on the neck that way, in a sagging different. So I saw that and I was like, no. So I think there's just a lot of pink smoke put up of where he's at and what he's doing. But I believe that he's in a confined space.
So is he still alive, or is he in GITMO or
Oh,
somewhere else? Worse?
I don't feel that the spirit is passed on. No.
Okay. And yeah, same thing for Kamala. Is she also in a double actress in a silicone suit?
Okay, this is where people are not going to agree with me. I do not feel that she's involved in a way that everybody thinks she knows everything, and I don't get that with her. So how can I say this? Would you see prosecution to a limited ability with her? Because I don't think they have revealed everything to her. And I think she's smart of not wanting to know everything.
All
Just
right.
saying.
Okay, so good enough. All right. Let's let me go ahead. Yeah, so he's not going, but that doesn't mean he's not going to be inaugurated. But okay, so let's move on here. I think we've already gone over that. Okay. Signal, yeah. Well, do you feel like there's going to be a blackout? Are they going to shut the media shut all the power of the
Yeah,
power
I actually believe it's really soon.
Hmm. As
But I
in like the next couple days before the
yeah,
inauguration?
oh yeah. And this is the thing I'm getting when I'm asking about a power outage. I just feel it's rolling. I don't feel like it's all at once. I feel like it's rolling. So you're going to have like, short circuits of it happening in different areas and different frequencies. That's what I feel.
Is it a result of EMP, or is it one of those things that we talked about earlier that they're going to sabotage and destroy the grid?
I actually think the military is way prepared for that. So I don't think it's that. I just think sometimes things are done on purpose to get your attention, to get you to warn you, to get you to actually stay in your house and do what you need to do. But things are actually in control and contained.
Hmm.
So that's the way I see it.
All right.
Because if it wasn't, I think Trump would definitely be telling people to arm up and be guarded in a different way. So I don't feel that they're not in control.
All right. So comments from the chat. We've got Insurrection Act signed at 1 p.m. You didn't say what time zone it is, but 1 p.m. somewhere. It could be anywhere in the world. 1 p.m. So we got here arrests are happening. Thank you. Nasara started January 1st. Would you agree with that, Jenny? Where
I would
Nasara?
agree with that.
So that means
I would agree with
when
that.
they announce it, that means we're going to have new elections.
I
Yeah.
would agree with that.
Mhm. Okay. So all right.
Okay, I gotta tell you something. Okay, so this is the thing I gotta think of. You gotta think Trump is goal oriented on things. Okay, so I want you guys to think about this. With him staying in the White House, what does he have to prove there after this? Do you understand?
By staying in the
So
White
he's
House.
mhm.
Well, I guess he proves that he is the president of the Republic of the United States. And the
Okay. So let me
corporation
explain something.
Trump.
So after you've gone and done exactly what you're supposed to do, I just feel like I think that whole presidency, Republican, Democrat, we're growing out of that system. So I actually believe that I keep seeing this council. I think there's going to be more people involved in making decisions instead of this one person. And I think I just got this feeling that he's going to be more in control of that new financial backing. So you can only do so many jobs at once, but I do feel that whoever he implements to take more control of that, I'm not saying he's going to give 100% up, but what I'm saying is once you've accomplished what you need, you train people to do their job and you can sit back a little and take care of other things that are more priority. So I'm just saying, if you have to look at it as in a corporation way, and so I just feel that his character and how he's doing things is going to change,
All
and
right.
what's going to be the priority, and how you're going to see other people step up in a different way.
Yeah. Well, here's another prediction sent to me by another listener of the show. So pardon me, if the grammar check hasn't been done on it, but so we see more trucks appearing, more military people showing up on the streets. They'll eventually bring the police into the Capitol. And then Trump will announce that he's going to disband the political system as it's over. Then he will stand as an independent, run 4 years, and then create a new political system like the Green Party, Independent Party, USA Party. And we're going to get rid of this two-party system. It's going to be gone. And then Trump will make his own app for social media, start in a few days, plus TV stations, perhaps. And then he would change the voting system. So I'm assuming that means the quantum voting system was on a blockchain, and probably the quantum financial system as well, where everything is managed by, we got quantum supercomputers to make sure that there's no financial fraud in the blockchain. So yeah, but hopefully we'll be able to keep the republic. I mean, we don't want to see California and New York kicked out of the U.S., although I think it may go that way if people there don't get their act together.
Okay, well, what I see is the fact that we've outgrown the system. So our mental capability of understanding that, that worked, in the past, but it's not going to work now. Things have changed. We have to evolve as humans. That system is not working. So, and I keep going back to these councils of things. And I just feel that there's more people that are going to be in control of looking as an agreement, instead of, jabbering at that one person that makes all those decisions. And Trump is one of those people that if you show your loyalty and you can do the job, he's really good at letting them step up. So he has a lot of high-minded people around him. He doesn't surround himself in idiots.
All right.
Um, so, and that's the thing, is he gives people, if you have the capability and you have the understanding, just show me. And then the ones who think they can run over them, and it's not going to work. So I believe that he's willing to say, I know that I'm going to, one day I'm not going to be here. Okay. So you always train people to replace you.
Yeah. Well, Kylie.
I think you got to understand he's got to be tired too.
Yeah, Kylie Herbert made a great comment here from Magenta Pixie, another channeler, says that President Trump will eventually be king of the world. He will be the CEO of a roundtable with multiple people to decide on what will happen throughout the world. And that's what I've been hearing, that Trump is our last president, and that what's going to be replaced is a council. But I don't necessarily know if Trump is going to be president of the world, although we had another guest on here who did predict that as well. I think the Trump haters may not like to hear that.
Yeah. But. Yeah. Okay. So I think he's earned, this is the biggest difference. He's earned respect from different continents, from different countries. He's by doing it. Okay. And I don't think he wants that position. Do you understand? He wants people he wants the world self-efficient. He wants them to make their own decisions, but doing it the right way. So I honestly believe that you get people trained enough, and like I said, that council it's just the same thing as, as you see spiritually, you see these councils that work together, these spirits that coexist, and that's just a humble presence. And I think that's what's coming in a format, and people are gonna, I think they're gonna bat an eye going, well, how can this work? And, are we tapping into the future? Maybe. Are we seeing that presence take effect? And because I honestly believe that he's already tapped into higher beings and understand that frequency and that language, and getting those ideas and putting that in and implementing that.
I agree. All right. Well, next question, and it's a good one from the chat. Thank you. So JFK Jr. or Flynn? So who do you think is going to be the next vice president for Trump?
So now on that situation, I still am going with JFK on that. I am not
All right.
changing that one.
Okay. So I've been
I think
hearing,
that situation is going to be epic.
yeah, I've been hearing that it's too dangerous for him to come out. But you know what? Between now and the end of the mop up, things could be a lot. The whole world could be a lot different. So we'll find out soon enough. All right. So let's see here. Okay, let me go back to. How about we go back to some of these clips here? These um, screenshots. Let's go here. We got so we got Elon Musk recommending people to use Signal. Of course, Elon Musk. He's all part of Monarch Solutions, AI Entrained. I I don't really think he's a white hat anymore, but anyway. And plus,
Wow.
that satellite system they're putting up. What's that called? They're putting up like 10,000 satellites. It's all going to put Wi-Fi over the entire planet, 5G.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, I got an opinion on him, and I actually
Sure.
think it's really good. Really good. I actually think he's higher intelligence, and I mean, I don't think he's from here. I haven't felt that way. I look at him, and he looks totally different. But there's a soul that's just got this understanding, and some things are planted here for a certain reason, and to set seeds to make things grow. And I think he's a very intelligent person, and he's very good at, I don't care whether you think the idea is crazy, I'm going to do it. And you see it happening. And there's a knowing with him. I have respect for him.
All right. So there you have it. So, and it's Starlink. And yeah, so the concern is just the AI entrainment and the connection with Monarch. But you know what? If he's trying to break through all that, then more power to him. So let's move on here to the next screenshot we got here of I don't know. This could be all innuendo here, but we got it says here Dominion voting machines are partly owned by Biden's brother-in-law. Valerie Biden Owens is married to John Owens. His brother Kevin Owens is part owner of Dominion. So there is a connection, but I don't know if that's like the nail in the
It doesn't
coffin
feel,
there. What?
nah.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll move on with so now we've got here the military. They are getting ready to do a takedown. They're ready to go into urban environments, and they are also in support of our President Trump. They are not supporting a PEDO in connect is working for the CCP. So yeah, the chain of command basically states that let me go back up here. When the elections are contested, they can yeah, they will back yeah, so here we go. In the event of a contested or compromised transfer of power, so Prometheus refers to chain of command protocols for armed forces. So they've already got all this stuff's all written out in the book. So what they, plans that they have here, probably have an AI supercomputer, quantum computer that looks up all these possible scenarios. So it's just reminded that until the next president is officially sworn in, he cannot issue any orders to the armed forces whatsoever. So we've got yeah, so they're serving the Orange Man. So yep, there we have it, the military. Okay. Um, you have a comment about that, or would you be in agreement with that the military is still going to serve Trump and not Biden,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
even if
Yeah.
Biden inaugurates himself, they still would support him.
Military? No, no.
Hmm.
I think they were part of this from the beginning of taking um, this plan to inaction. So no.
Hmm. So we know about the laptops they took from when they stormed the Capitol, and I was there, by the way. I wasn't actually in the Capitol building. I was by the reflecting pool with the rest of the group there, doing our lawful constitutional right to freedom of speech. But there were a few people, apparently some of the military got embedded in there and started stealing, took some of Nancy Pelosi's and some of the other congressional officer laptops. So we got here, airspace is shut down over DC. So they call it COVID cleaning. But what do you think's going on over DC? Because they shut the city down on the 6th when I was there. So you're not allowed to drive in there. Even your GPS would not work. We had to park at the Pentagon and take the metro to get into the city. So,
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think's going on over the airspace there?
Well, I think uh, our new Galactic Space Force has got more insight on things than we are giving it credit for. You might see a persona of what our mental capability can see, like the laptops, that's where they got the resource. But I feel like there's more advanced equipment involved in knowing than what we're seeing, to a pin drop of understanding things. And I believe that the White House has cameras everywhere, and they have videotapes, tons.
Of what exactly?
So yeah, you could. So okay, so they want to use these laptops as this, well, we got all this information, and I feel like what I'm saying is the laptop's a target to look at and say, okay, that's where they got the information. But what I'm saying is this has been an operation for a long time. So I feel like there's cameras it's been in the White House for a while. It's been bugged for a White House. So there's just probably tons and tons of information that will never even get through everything.
Yeah, so we got the National Guard was snatching up these laptops. I'm assuming of course, they're pointing at the Democrats, but I think they probably got some of some of those Republicans. Are both some of them are in the hands of the CCP, but yeah. So we got apparently some of them were on the calls directly with Antifa and BLM, as well as the CCP, right when all that was taking place, getting direct orders. So they got the dirt, and somebody commented about what's on Nancy Pelosi's. We're going to get to that in just a bit. So everybody just stay put. I know some of you have already followed through on this, but some are going to get updated. All right. And we know about I just mentioned about this fence. So maybe that'll be their new prison. I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah. So that's
barbed wire around there, be their concentration camp, serve them right. Okay. But we saw that.
But some people are not, they can't deal with prison. So they look at it as it's worse than living. So I'm just telling you, you're going to see suicides coming. Suicides.
Yeah.
So I don't feel that, I'm just saying people show a tough persona, how strong they look, and what you see on TV is not always their complete reality of things. So I don't know. I think people are weaker than they used to be. They used to be a lot stronger. They used to be stronger survivors than they are today. And I think, technology has changed that, and especially our physical bodies and everything else too. So, I mean, it's just, I think you're going to be seeing people fold very quickly that you thought was going to fight a while, and they're not gonna.
Yeah. Okay. So let's go ahead and move on here. We've got so we know about the laptops. We're gonna go into what's on them in just a bit, and then so here's another. What do we got here? Military took all the laptops from Congress when they left the premises. Yeah. So they were messaging CCP, Antifa. Yeah. So they were caught red-handed. We're not going to go necessarily into. I think his name is Jacob, the guy wearing the horns, but whether or not he was Marine, I don't know. I don't think it's all that important for this discussion. But we've got here's a post from Lynn Wood. We got So here, this might have been one of the laptops. I don't know. This is a letter from Nancy Pelosi to Ted Wheeler. Says here, I've seen your response to the riots in your city, and I'm urging you to stick to the proven Democratic playbook. 1, deny there is a problem. 2, refer to everything as peaceful and calm. The press will help here. 3, when all hell breaks loose, go on camera, show your support for anybody breaking the law. Press will praise you for this, and you'll be a new hero. Lastly, you can no longer, if you can't keep the law and order, you can always blame Trump. And this has worked every time they've used it. And the press say they will support that as well. So then it says, go on television, condemn Trump, and refuse any assistance. We cannot give Trump any victory before the election. So that's the playbook. So
Sounds completely ignorant. So what I'm saying is, like I said, them following one format and thinking that's always going to work with everything, every time. And it doesn't. But the way they look at us as, they're not smart. They're not going to figure it out. But I mean, more of a higher intelligence, people make mistakes and then they get cocky about things and they get confident. And then that's when mistakes are made. And
yeah.
so, and you understand that guy is a complete wuss. So, I mean, so I don't give that guy, if someone told him to jump off a cliff, he would.
Who?
If the
Ted
Democratic
Wheeler?
Party. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we've got here the Insurrection Act. We know that was apparently that was. Can you confirm? Are your guides telling you that that was actually signed?
How do I say this? I don't, when you push an energy, something signed. So what I'm trying to tell you, I think you have the signature on things, but I'm not saying like, how you say, everything set in pace to be implemented yet. So there's, in that fine line, it's not about the writing, it's about the next phase. So has that phase, Delta Force phase, been started yet? No. Have we
Or the
got
calm
the
before the storm?
document? Yeah. Yeah. And then, so I feel the documentation is all in order and that's strong, but
Yeah.
the next step it's not there yet.
Okay. So this is for Tom. So you were asking, yeah, you mentioned about Pelosi was on a laptop. So here we go. So yeah, apparently there was some deal that they were going to sell General Electric to China. I think it was for $5 something billion. And they hacked the I guess the power grid there and shut it all down. And so we can read some more information here. They did some more arrests in Italy because of the Leonardo, the voting machine scandal there. And so we're yeah, where we go, one we go off. So anything you want to add to this, Jenny?
I didn't get anything on that one. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, well, we'll all find
When
out
I'm
soon.
telling you, I don't get anything. I'm like, it's no energy hitting on that one. So once
Okay.
I don't get it, I don't say that I
All
got
right.
something.
So we've got the Punisher over here. Mentioned here to stock up some dry food, and are you recommending to do that as well? Dry food, flashlights, candles, cash. Now is now the
I got a funny philosophy on this. So all these children that we have raised on to having iPhones and iPads and all this stuff, they're going to finally realize what it's like to be raised when we were young. I mean, they're going to have to. There's no Snapchat, no any of that stuff. So you got to more like they're going to be more dysfunctional than we are because we're used to it as kids. We had to go out and play in the streets or do something outside. That's the way you're going to be like, whoa, that people are not looking at that because you are programming your kids to have a certain source to entertain and be entertained by certain things. That's not going to be there for a good 10 days. So, um, yeah, but I think it's going to make people a little humble. It might help reconnect with families, but, that's a different view of looking at things, but maybe it's a good thing for all these children to see this in a different way. Um, so do I think that, I think the city areas are going to be a little worse. And then I think the country areas they're always more planned for something like this to a certain degree, you know. So I think your city areas are not going to be ready for it. So yes, there's going to be
Okay.
to a certain degree of things. But then I actually feel military coming in, and if there's other sources they're not getting, military will provide for it. Because that's the one thing I can tell you Trump's good at. When any thing happens tragically, he's instantly making sure there's supplies. I'm just saying.
All right. So let's go on here. So this is, oh, it's not in order. I was hoping it'd be in order. Let's see here. Maybe I need to go over here. Let's try this one. The amount of planning that's gone into this is insane, but Trump is a 5D chess player. As situations come up, yeah. So they basically got everything planned. Broadcasts will be on radio, TV, phone, watches, etc. Anything that receives a signal, make sure you enable Amber Alerts if you've disabled it. The boss will jump on emergency broadcast system as soon as they pull the plugs. We know that. Every social media platform will be taken down, and most phone, internet, and more likely service are going down. President's family are fine, so we already went over that. They have a small army of Marines guarding them, maybe super soldiers. Who knows? I have some. Okay, believe it, but starting 2000, if not earlier, our presidents and most of our government has been selling America to the highest bidder. They sold our military for wars, best food, clothing, and worse land. And this actually was back in I think it was 1979 when I think it was GOFA, the Government Accounting Standards. What's there? That's GASB. Oh gosh, it's from change. I'm trying to remember my own video from Changes on the Horizon, but they basically changed the accounting law rules that allowed government pension funds and institute to invest money offshore. So that's where our own government started hollowing out our own industry, because most of Fortune 500 companies is owned by these aggregate government pension funds, so on the CAFRs, AFRs, and the CFS, confidential financial statement. So that's been going on since at least 79. But I guess it's just gotten worse over the years because we've had such poor leadership, and our government is a corporation, controlled by these bankers, so they don't care. They've always been trying to destroy. Anyway, but you know what? We've got Trump there leading the way, and hopefully positive military can fix this mess. So most of the power grid is going to, so we know about this, but I think, Jenny, you've already commented, you probably don't see much of the EMPs taking place. Yeah. Okay. So then we've got, this is going on for years. They give you drugs to make you sick, cures, which don't work. Big pharma causes shots. Yeah. And then they hollow out the economy. So right here, 10% of what our country makes per year. It's actually getting worse because every year, think of it this way. So the money that's brought in through taxes is put into these investment funds, these pools, and they go in there and they buy up stocks and so on in the stock market. And then what happens is that because, if you're an investor, you have to pay income tax. So you're being penalized, but they don't have to pay any income tax on all these investments. And so they can grow at a faster rate than you can. And then over the years, through compounding interest, they can it's growing faster than than the public sector. So over time, it's got to the point where government aggregate business activity is larger than even the public sector GNP. We're basically a communist country, but they just don't tell us that because they want people to think that we're still free, to create the illusion of it's and I think that's the reason why the Soviet Union collapsed, is because they realized that what we got going on over here was so much I hate to say better, but it worked a little bit better anyway, at least for until now, because it's all about ready right there. It's good. It's about ready to end for them. So 3-day head start. Yeah. Okay. Texas. Yeah. So we already covered that. They can, by treaty, they can split, but from the United States anytime they want, anytime. Oh, I think anytime they want, if they get the support. Okay. Trump. Yes. Troops will have supplies. Don't go if you ever go into FEMA concentration camp, don't ever eat the food or water. It's poison, FYI, but I don't think that's going to happen this timeline. There's a huge amount of power. Phone crews out. So yeah, if you go down, it won't be for long. Expect the best outcome, plan for the worst. All right. So you wanna make a comment there? What do you think? You agree with most of that, or any?
The you
Or
know the I got to talk about the pharmacy and all that stuff like this. And I had a comment on that, the fact that they prosecute these street drug dealers and all that stuff, and the pharmaceuticals are 10 times even worse as the ones on the streets, and then all of a sudden they decide that, pushing guns and crime is it's a good thing. And then, because Trump tapped into that and cut that off, and that money flow that goes into things. I mean, are you there?
yeah,
Yeah.
Patty just sent me a message. Okay, go ahead. Yes, I'm listening.
So I I just want to, when you get so corrupted, everybody thinks they're going to get away with it, get away with it, get away with it, get away with it. And then because they think they're good at getting away with it. So you're dealing with a society now that everything's so corrupted. And I want to go in this with something else I work in missing persons cases. And I've been running into this problem for a long time right now. You have the FBI, and then you have the police departments. And what I've noticed, an epidemic that's starting across the United States wise, is a lot of these sheriff's departments and police departments. There needs to be a purging, and they need to clean out the departments, because if you don't think that Congress has not uh, corrupted that, you got another thing coming. So I hope Trump purges through that, because there are so many cases that are just in standstill, and they just let it sit. I just got to go with this real quick. Sorry. So I think across the nation, you're going to start to see that purging of, because there's good cops out there, and the ones that do solve these cases and work hard and, bring the truth to the light. But then you have these ones that just stop at everything. So the corruption nationally there's not an area they haven't hit. Where is it they don't have corruption anymore? There needs to be a total purge from head to toe. But people have told themselves it's okay to do this. So I feel you started with one thing, but I had to go back into this. So there's so much going on that you're going to find it everywhere, in every department, and so we have to sit back and be ready for that, and not think that there's one area that it's not going to be in, because it's everywhere.
All right, thank you. So let's go back. Actually, let me check chat here to questions. Yeah, somebody was mentioning about Taiwan. There was a deal made to sell China. Yeah, Taiwan to China. But Taiwan is original nationalist China, so that's what was left. So it's just imagine China. Yeah, so it's actually CCP took over the nationalist China.
Right.
But yeah, so hopefully, yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. We're not in the negative timeline. People are asking about, I don't really want to comment about some other people here, but okay, med beds are in production as we speak. Thank you, Bareback. Okay. All right. Well, all right. So let me go back to because actually I found the rest of this. Okay. So, because it got split up, because this one, well, oh, okay. All right. We'll go over this. So yeah, we just follow up earlier. Nancy Pelosi was stopped at the border because of all the evidence they found on her laptop. And I laughed because it almost seems like a comedy how much these people have gotten away with this. So yeah, and we got the military tribunals coming up, because we got Cindy Powell, because she can do military tribunals. And then we've got yeah. Do you have any information? Do you feel I guess you've already said they're about ready to do the takedown, but
Yeah, they are. But usually when you have chaos like this, they come up with some stories that you're just like, okay, well, don't you think that they know exactly where she's at every second?
yeah.
Yeah. So that's just very much a pink smoke scenario thing again.
And this thing about him
So,
being Cheyenne Mountain, you wanna
no, what I
okay.
wouldn't say, I would say that man is in many places.
All right, all right. Everything is under control. You should start seeing military on the streets in the next 24 hours. Okay, so that's practically today. Very stupid to
And
take them. No.
maybe in bigger cities, but I mean,
Okay.
you're going to see that we're the
Oh,
most
they're already
populated first.
they're in Washington D.C. already. So
Right.
we got what
You know,
4,000 National Guard there. Yeah.
I
What?
think you're going to see a different area. You know, one of the most corrupt cities that I have to say is the state is Illinois. Ugh. And
Chicagoland? Ah,
that one, I think there's going to be a little more resistance and fight in that area because it's been so corrupted for so long that it's you might see a
yeah.
lot of gunfire on that one.
Good. Well, I mean, not good as a gunfire, but I hope they help the people out there because yeah, I know some really good people in Chicago, and they told me some of this horrific thing that goes on with the banks and the corruption. But anyway, mortgage fraud. But so let's move on here. Very stupid to take them. We also have 3 carrier groups in the Gulf. Oh, this is not in order. So let me go to the one that's supposed to be there. There's no set timeline, but it has started. The boss is being censored. We know that. He has info that will end. All those are looking to take over the country. If you still have the internet, you will if you still have net, you will see that we have Navy fleets on both coasts. Nancy has been offered 250,000 UN troops. She would okay, so it's not in order. I wish I just put this thing in order. But let's go back over here. Okay, understand that people are date shy, but I don't never have been. Yeah, okay. Oh, things are always in flux, and of course, you always stay calm. If you're in DC in the 6, you are well aware they have jammers that will stop phone signals flat, and so but the EBS will go right through that, so don't worry. And that's true because when I was in DC, I was scheduled to do a live stream to give an update, and I couldn't even make a phone call. And but we certainly did get it. We got a text message around 3 p.m. that there was a mandatory curfew at 6 that day. So everybody started. That was right around after they stormed the Capitol. Okay, so we got you should not encounter any trouble because Antifa and BLM are marked and they're being picked up right now as we speak. So yep, about
I
60,000
actually
people.
think that was already started. I believe they've already been starting to pick up BLM. I
Yeah,
think it was already started a long time ago,
yeah.
so I
And
don't think that's new.
so if they can shut down like your cell phones and block it, I mean, surely they have technology to track who all these clusters of people. So a lot of people have cell phones on them, and if people Antifa and BLM are clustered together, they're going to know who all these people are. So, but anyway,
Yeah, there's your
oh
technology
yeah,
again. Like,
I don't know if this is maybe more hearsay, but yeah, apparently Vatican City, all the roads are closed. Who knows what they're doing down there?
and the thing I get with them, there's a lot of underground facilities and tunnels and stuff like that. And I got to tell you, on that frequency and that level, I think the stuff that they're gonna uh, find in that city, and it's gonna be it's gonna be it's gonna make you puke.
Hmm.
And that's what I'm gonna tell you. It's just um, they've been hiding a lot for a long time, to control the world in the way of being the ones that have control over that. And so I just really believe when that comes out, that area, it's the skeletons are going to be dig very deep.
Okay, well, the only that what I could add to this conversation is that a lot of these pre-Adamites who originally came from Mars and I think it was planet Mard Marduk. Oh gosh, anyway, but that was billions of years ago. But they settled in Antarctica and they created clone avatar bodies of themselves and that look human. So they're in stasis right now in Antarctica, and they've in one of the places that they infiltrated is the Vatican. So what these pre-Adamites are known for is cannibalism. So it would not
Mm,
surprise me if a lot of
mm,
they find necrotic
yeah.
tissue and shackles and yeah. But and I'm not saying, there
See, and
might
that's
be some
what people don't
gringos who
understand.
also go ahead.
Where was the devil's Bible created? I want you to think about that.
Uh, why don't you tell us?
Yeah. And so this well, the story is that, it was I think it was a, a somebody, there was a pope, and then he did a crime, and then I think it was overnight that this Bible was created, and he made a deal with the devil. So, but I don't know if you ever seen how thick it was and everything like that. And so, and I always look at the devil as pretty smart. You know, they they're going to go to people that they're at their weakest point and all that stuff too. So I'm just saying, it has to be pretty dark and pretty bad. And I just, even when I go in the Catholic Church, I'm sorry, but I don't feel anything there. I just feel there is such a bad seed with that society that it gets me sick. So when that is revealed, I think that's definitely gonna need a drink.
Hmm.
Sitting down on that one.
Yeah, well, what I've been told anyway, at least from somebody who claimed to be a time traveler, is that the United States is going to break apart in civil war. I don't think we're necessarily on that timeline. We were very, very close last fall, but they also said that religion is going to be going away in the next 10 years. So um, anyway, but
Agree.
okay, but you consider yourself a Christian though, Jenny.
Okay. I gotta tell everybody the story about this. Okay, I'll
Okay.
tell you why. So when people are like, oh, you're a Christian. So I don't believe in the way that Christians believe. Okay. I believe in God and the energy and everything like that. And I have faith in what I do, but a lot of what the Christians do I don't believe in, because this is the biggest things. They're really good at throwing stones at a person when they're down. You know what I'm saying? So so my belief of the way I see it, and there's things I take of the Bible that Spirit has told me this is good, this isn't true. There's certain things I believe. But what I'm trying to say is I see a lot of Christians turn their back on a lot of things. And when you're taking money on a consistent basis from the church, and then it's not going back into the people, it is filling those societies, the leaders' pockets, and that's who the only ones getting rich to. That makes me sick. So when I say Christian, I believe in Jesus, believe in the faith, but I don't believe in the people anymore because I've seen what they've done to it, the Christian churches. So I have not stepped 1 ounce into a Christian church in a long time. And people are like, why do you say it? I go, you know what? I like uh, a debate. I like to, and it provokes those Christians when I say that name. So I kept it because I know it starts a conversation. So I'm more of a spiritual person, faith driven into what Spirit has taught me. But it's the reason why I say that it starts a conversation and a debate. That is why I say it. And so, but I have faith, but it is not led by what they have directed it, and is led by what is presented to me and what I see in the Bible that is real. So that kind of confuses people.
Okay, thank you, Jenny. So, audience members, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. We're trying to avoid a lot of the religious topics here because I want to stay on topic here, but at least okay. So, and I was actually looking for the video for the hologram. I don't know if you remember back. I think it was in April but the Pope disappeared from the from
I
was it?
saw that. I remember that is definitely a hologram. I saw that. You, there was even like a shortage, almost the way it came in. You can see it. Yes, I believe that was a hologram.
Well, we got so yeah, but CGI'd or whatever. I'm not sure how they do this, but yep, just disappeared just like that. Yeah, so the Pope is probably in GITMO or someplace, where he needs to be. So let's go back here. Oh, you know what? Actually, let's go to the next one. So we've got here's another rumor, something. Yeah, just from something basically stating when the EBS is going to be activated. Obviously, I can't really confirm any of this. Somebody can say whatever they want, but and some more. I guess we have some more rests. Or not sure what's
Yeah, I
going on.
saw that.
Do you know what's going on with this picture here?
Yeah, that's when isn't he the president of Italy? I can't. Is that what they were showing on the internet today? Is that who he is?
Uh, I wish I had my notes here. I should have taken. I'm sorry. Well, anyway, I don't have my notes on that, but maybe someone could come. I think that's it. So that's all I've got here for tonight. Let's stop share. I'm gonna go over to the chat here and see if anybody has any questions. We've got people are going over the Pope, this and that. Okay, because he's still alive. Most religions have been made into a business. Okay,
See,
and
and
yes,
James, that is the one thing that it's the subject I can talk about because it
yeah,
seems to people are very confused by, well, how can you call yourself a Christian? Because and the way I take Christian word is like I believe in Christ. So you don't have dominance over that name on how I believe and how I interpret things, but they have taken that name into the church and made a profit out of it, and money, just like the government, and they don't take care of their people no more, and they don't teach them to reach inside and actually teach them about spirituality, the Holy Spirit, all that stuff, because they want to be able to control and contain them. And I don't agree with that. Free will is a big part of it. And so it's always the church is become just to keep you limited, to have doubt in what you're doing, to judge people. And I just got sick of Christian stones being thrown at people that are really needing help. And so I saw that and I was just sick of it. And so have to say that I want these spiritual societies that I think will be developed and with no judgment of a human soul or a humble soul trying to heal, no matter their past. And that's what needs to change. And I hope we bring that all into the light and heal those people
hmm.
and get rid of them making money off a vulnerable soul.
Well, the whole money system is about ready to go away anyway, because once we get replicators, it's not going to even matter. We can replicate a brick of cash or a pallet of gold. Who cares? At that point, you can have whatever you want. And certainly the quantum financial system, everybody will get a lump sum, which will have it'll be set up as some kind of a annuity, some forward annuity that you get a monthly payment out of. I don't know
Right.
the exact number is. Although in my last Saint Germain video, I mentioned it would be about $2,000 to $3,000 a month. At least that's where it's going to start at. But
Uh,
are you see and you want to comment about universal income? Do you see that happening soon?
yeah. And that goes with the higher technology of understanding too. And I just feel like, I think at first people with technology and how money has to change, the first thing I think people, society thinks they're tracking us, this is a way of tracking us. And I don't feel like as humans, we have to evolve, and you just got to get past that old programming and just say, okay, to change our universe and make things better, this is just part of the process. So yeah, it's going to happen. And I think it's being just to accept it and be overwhelmed, um, not to feel overwhelmed or like, paranoid about it. So I think we're going to be careful, and I think it'll end up being okay, and we'll be fine accepting it. Um,
All right.
so yeah.
Okay, so I'm just gonna go right now. I'm done with my questioning, so I'm gonna just go through the chat. If anyone has some good questions or comments, I'll read them here or post them. But Yeah, right now everybody's still focused on religion. You know how everybody can become some polarized on all that, but so a lot of that was created by the Anunnaki. So I don't know why everybody's so focused on religion here. How does all this stuff affect the underground society? So what does Inner Earth think about all this? I mean, surely the Garthians and Shambhala, and the
About what's going on, I just, I think any species, I think, and each balance, they let their own, let us make our own choice and fight our own battles. I think they have to be asked or allowed to be, to interact with that. And I feel like this is a fight we have to go through on our own. So
I
I
agree.
think they're respectfully
Yeah.
reserving that.
They don't want to get involved because they don't want to have their karma. They're so paranoid about being incarnated into a human body on the surface. They don't want nothing to do with us, actually. A lot of them. Not
A
all.
lot of them, I think they look at it and go, boy, are humans ignorant. And that's just a shameful thing. That's the truth, though, because of we're controlled by our flesh needs, and you know that kind of contains and controls everything.
Yeah.
So to some of us, some of us that doesn't work.
Yeah.
So I think they're just waiting for us to get it.
Question from Killer Bear. The super soldiers, will they ever be recognized for their sacrifice for the greater good? What do you think, Jenny? Do you think, or
I
even
think so.
an SSP, yeah, Experience, Middle Labs? Yeah.
Yeah, I think there'll be a recognition for that. Yes, I do.
Okay, so I asked that question to Cobra. I interviewed him on another channel, but he said that that won't happen until after disclosure takes place. And the way it may
Mm-hmm.
look like is they may publish a website with the names of all the people that were in the SSP and how many years you were in the SSP, maybe the aliases that you had, as well as the amount of money that you're supposed to get for your service. So there is funds, and they do want to. I've been told anyway. At least some groups want to release those funds. Of course, other groups, yeah, they just want to keep your money, but
Right.
that's going to change soon. All right. I feel like most DUMs are
Right.
underground have been cleared out. James, can you confirm? Well, since you asked,
Can I talk
yeah,
about
go
that
ahead, Jenny. Go ahead.
subject?
Mm-hmm.
This is the one thing Spirit talked about on those duns. Is the one thing they told me. They're saying, listen, those have to be spiritually cleansed, because the memory and the frequency that everything that happened down there, it's recycles that energy around. And the one thing they kept telling me, the light needs to be shown in there. I mean, I think they're literally going to have to exercise those duns. Yeah, yeah, big time.
Exercise like demonically,
Hmm.
demonic entities down, because are we talking about they've opened up portals to other realms, to hell, perhaps?
Okay, so when you create and witness those, how you say, I don't want to, pain and suffering to a certain extent that you think it's funny, and that holds an impression in that energy, and to have that stay and stagnated in that energy and that lower frequency like that. So as you would be walking through that, you would be able to almost feel like you can feel it dimensional. That needs to be cleansed, because you got to understand those are still in our earth. They're still lower down frequency, but it needs to be cleansed completely.
How do you think they're gonna? How can you actually cleanse with that much demonic
Well,
energy?
oh, sound,
Hmm.
frequency, and light. Three things that the negative doesn't like.
Okay, fair enough.
So, because they've showed me that they need sound, high sound, higher quality frequency, light, and a different healing type of light, and then a vibration of sending that down there, and almost like when you crack glass and send that vibration, it's the same thing. It
Hmm.
needs to be done.
All right. So let's go on here to the next question or questions. So let's hear. Somebody's asking about the future of Bitcoin, and I don't know, Jenna. I think we've actually discussed this in the past that you don't make predictions about financial stuff.
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
Is that because spirit has forbidden you, or is that just not your thing?
They don't find it important. They say it's a flesh need. It's not a spiritual need.
Yeah. So Parker, Kusal, who's been on here, has predicted $1 million of Bitcoin, and we Yasava, who hasn't been on my channel, but she does apparently make really accurate predictions. So she has said Bitcoin's going down to zero. So there you have it. You pick what you want. The no doesn't really help, but I do think crypto will probably be a part of our future. I don't know which one. So and a lot of
Yeah,
it.
I just I get a lot of questions on money, and they're just like, no, because it's just it may each person's at a mindset of thinking what is important, what is the priority, and I try to always really ask them, like, I want the truth, what is the priority here? And they're like, that's a human condition, that is important, and that is like, you got to understand that money is evil in the way, and we think that that's going to fix something, and they're like, it's not about the money that's going to fix humans. They're not looking inside them to find the answers and trusting that, and that's where I feel that they're frustrated with.
Okay. Question from Karen. What is Jenny? What is your national tribal family background? Are you part Native American and your mother's line?
uh
What do
my dad is Hungarian, and he's got Cherokee in him too. And then I think my mom's got some Scottish and Irish. So that's what I
you could
have
practically be
understood.
cousins. Yeah, I had an uncle during the
Huh?
civil. I had an uncle. I'm sorry, great uncle, and that was in the Civil War, and he married a Native American, and we don't, on our side of the family, doesn't know which tribe because it was considered so shameful back then to marry a
My
Native American.
Yeah, my dad's
But
Blackfoot Cherokee. His family, that the side, that's what it comes from.
all right.
So that's what
Question.
they
Yeah,
history.
next question. Jenny, what do you think of the law of the gift, law of the land?
I'm confused.
Okay. Yeah, Karen, explain that. And I know she had I was actually looking for Karen's. She had another good question. Okay, does Jenny see humans staying on Earth or being transported to other Earths, from maybe other parallel realities, as we go through this ascension process?
I hope I I hope we get off here. Just or yeah. Um Eventually, yes. We I think about each planet, one is created, but then I think a planet eventually dies out, and I think we're, as humans, and it depends on what type of humans we are at that time, that I think we have to, in our natural way to travel and exist, move on to another planet.
All right. Okay, Jenny, what do you think of the law of attraction, the law of one, the law of polarity? And that's a lot of questions.
See, I'll,
How about we start with the law
what
of
I
attraction?
can,
Go ahead.
law of attractions. This is a thing. I don't believe in that one soul connection. You're going to be with that one soul. I believe everything's in frequencies. So I think there's levels that you're attracted to and you're connected with in a universal way. So if I and my soul is only connected to one type of frequency, I feel that that is true. And then there's each person's at a different frequency, and then you find that happenstance situation of those souls coming together. So it is at that existence of time when that does come together. Does that sound confusing?
Okay, well, following you. All right. Well, I don't see any other questions there. Anybody want to throw any more questions? Because otherwise, we're gonna call it a night. And I just want, oh, you know what? I should read because you have a book. Let's hear
Walking in humble
Walking in Humble
spirit.
Spirit that you didn't want to write, but Spirit told me or told you, I want you to write. I want you to do this book for people who are starting out so they can understand energy and spirituality in a basic way and not feel frustrated.
Right.
Okay, so let's so you can get that book at Jenny's site with two S's
Or
.net.
you can actually get it on Amazon too.
All right. So let me so I'm going to share your website one more time. So if you want to learn more about what Jenny does, visit her website, jennysite.net. And yeah, I guess in particular you do missing person cases, but
I do missing persons cases, fraud cases. I do a lot of archaeology, looking at for stuff in the ground on properties and stuff like that too. So, and then of course, distant planets information from that stuff too. Descriptions, details, and information.
yeah.
Yeah.
You were also recently contacted, perhaps by the Trump administration. Do you want to comment about that, or is that?
Okay. So let me tell you, I actually did some research on that.
Yeah.
I think me and you were on the phone. That and I went because I'm all about research. I'm like, there's something about this doesn't make sense. So I went back and looked at the email and I found the information, and I actually found out that it wasn't a correct address. So I don't know how that information, because you saw it too, and so it was set up in a format that I would understand, but the address, it was just a hair off. So that was incorrect. What Whoever sent it to me was not the actual person.
All right.
So
Well, there you have it. Oh, so maybe we'll wait till that you can get some clarification what's going on there, and then we'll share that with the audience
mm-hmm.
members. And seems like there's a lot of other live streams going on tonight. Thank you for everybody for participating with the Super Soldier Talk and hearing Jenny and her feedback. And so also be sure to subscribe to this channel. And also visit my website, supersoldiertalk.com. You can see some of the videos. I've got some other interesting videos on there. I try to get other content. And be sure to support our sponsor here. This is actually, I'm going to pull it up. So my sponsor is Neological Tech, and looks like I need to take the Christmas tech. I've taken all my Christmas decorations down this week, but I haven't done it on the website yet. But yeah, so definitely, I suppose if you still want some 10% off, you can message me. But I do. You get your Neo Cubes, and you can get your book. So and that's some e downloads and so on. But anyway, yeah, go check that out as well. Thank you, listeners, and we'll see you maybe tomorrow. I might do another channeled session with Kimberly. So but we're probably I don't know. Anyway, with Saint Germain, but you'll find out soon enough. Thank you all, everybody, and we'll see you later. See ya.